it's one of them days today. One of them days where I just feel like sitting down and doing nothing. Occasionally get days like that. But I am walking down there. Someone's told me of some eggs on the side of a sallow bud. They've been marked, so I know roughly where they are. But these 4 eggs, I think they are tiny. First, I've got to find the right bush. I've been told where it is. I just hope their directions are good. I hope they're like Google Maps. In the meantime, having crawled and walked and limped all the way up through Clipson Old Quarter, I have seen 3 commas and 3 orange underwings, all disturbed off the path in front of me. Now I've got to get up and carry on down there. But it's a nice day. Well, I've now walked alongside the western boundary of the Sherwood Forest Country Park, and I'm now on this western boundary track of Budby South Forest. I need to go down where the area is that oil beetles frequent. I've got my specific instructions with me, and first of all I need to go further up there till I reach the gate, and then our search begins. And here's my markers that Nick and Samantha Brownlee have left me, these impaled bramble leaves, which means that there's eggs on there and on here, I presume. Oh, there they are. There's just a little line of eggs between the stem and the bud. See if we can get you a bit closer. Right, well, it's been relatively straightforward. You can see those 2 rows of eggs, 1 on each of these 2 stems. I think there's 4 legs on each. It's amazing, you know, insects. You might not give them credit for the credit they deserve, but when you look at the placement of these eggs, and many insects do the same, especially, you know, butterflies and moths, they won't just lay anywhere, a lot of them. Some are really specific, and this species certainly is. So, something else to hatch out and rear. Some more mystery eggs. But what I'll do, I'll get these home and see if we can get a close-up photograph. Maybe we'll be able to identify this species from the egg. Trouble is, there's a lot of Lepidoptera that feeds on sallow, and it's rather a case of ruling things out, just going through the species that lay on sallow and checking any photographs available of eggs, and then it's just a process of elimination. So anyway, that's the story so far. It brings you up to date with the in the field sort of videos. On arrival back home, it was a case of getting some decent photos to show the eggs and to show the sculptural detail on them. They are absolutely fantastic eggs, they really are. And from the top, they're almost identical to the eggs of many Nymphalidae butterflies. However, it is indeed a moth. And after securing some decent photos, it was then a case of sitting down with a cup of tea and going through a website that lists all the known invertebrates using various plants as host plants, and going through the list of species on there, and then going through another website that shows the eggs, larvae and pupa of most macro moths. It took about an hour to go through all of the species listed on both sites, and the only species that matched in terms of the sculptural characteristics of the eggs, and also, more importantly, the painstaking placement of the eggs at the side of the bud. Very few moths do that. In fact, I didn't see any others at all, although it's possible that a couple of other species may well do it. In the end, the species that I came to as the culprit of these eggs was the beautiful pink-barred sallow, Xanthia togata. That's the moth in the photo that you're looking at now. And that photo was taken in daylight. There's no artificial light, and I've not altered the image or the colour saturation in Adobe Photoshop at all. That particular specimen was pristine, and when that was trapped, it must have been straight out of the pupa, straight to the big light in the woods. It's a very common moth, but that doesn't matter. Common or not, it was fun solving a little mystery, and thanks to Nick and Samantha Brownlee for pointing us in the direction and so beautifully and cleverly marking the eggs. Brilliant. I do like a mystery, and I like one especially that I can solve. One day someone will report something and it'll be extremely rare, but it's just that little extra that it adds to the hobby for me, to entomology. Looking for eggs. It's surprising how often you do come across eggs that have been laid, but it looks as though the eggs that are photographed have already hatched. I don't know, although I think the ones in the photo that you've seen have already been predated. They look clear to me. The caterpillars overwinter in the egg and hatch and feed on sallow catkins. In a few weeks' time, it should be possible to go down to the same sallow bush when it's got the catkins on it, give it a couple of whacks, and onto a white sheet should drop a few caterpillars of pink-barred sallow. Obviously, that will be the subject of another video. So, mystery solved. On to the next one. As long as Nick and Samantha find us something to look for.